Welcome to the Museum of Pop Culture, otherwise known as MOPOP.
MOPOP is located in downtown Seattle near the Space Needle. They were going to run this exhibit starting in 2019 and they weren't able to because of the quarantine. Now I'm on this exhibit without my waltzing partner, which was kind of a bummer. Melissa was not able to come with me on this, but honestly, I had an ulterior motive. Aside from all these amazing costumes, I am a nanny. I got to see my 4 beautiful granddaughters. One of my granddaughters has nicknamed me Nani, so don't call me Grandma. But we all adore each other, and anytime I get a chance to see them, you can bet I'm going to take that opportunity.
You start up the stairs where you see Cinderella in the tattered gown and the fairy godmother. The gown was pretty peach. I thought it was more pink than this. Then you work your way up the stairs where you get to see the White Queen from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. That just looks like a really warm outfit. Panoramic shot of the exhibit. I have always admired costumes. I do know how to sew, and so I know what's involved with putting together pieces like this. And I've always admired costume designers and what they are able to accomplish with fabric and beads and zippers and buttons and so forth, that it's almost another character in itself. And so that's why I was really excited to go to this exhibit.
Like I said before, I have been sewing since junior high, so I understand the technique and knowledge needed to create such amazing pieces like this. There is no way I could do this without a lot more practice and a lot more work. I can do the basics, but this is pretty amazing, and I found it extremely fascinating to see what they had attempted, things that were rejected, and things that they actually went with. So these sketches and notes that are with the costume designers are pretty interesting to read. The main exhibit room had quite a few of the more modern movies that we have all seen. We have Gaston from the live-action Beauty and the Beast, as well as the Beast from the live-action Beauty and the Beast. I kind of find myself wondering if this was worn over one of their green padded suits for motion capture. This is just another one of those things that I kind of wonder about. This is kind of hard to read, but I did find this quite fascinating. It talks about the space in between the rogue and the hero, a place of compassion and detachment, where villainy finds sympathy, where kindness softens the firm divide between what is right and what is wrong. A change of perspective or a change of heart makes a scoundrel a saint, and sometimes vice versa. Walt's opinion. He knew the popular appeal and moral center of projects. Quote, "We define the heroes and heroines more vividly, add minor characters to help carry the storyline, virtually create such immortal friends of the heroine as the 7 dwarves. Story-wise, we sharpen the decisive triumph of good over evil with our valiant knights, the issues which represent our moral ideals. Disney said we do it in a romantic fashion, easily comprehended by children. In this respect, moving pictures are more potent than volumes of the familiar words in books." I might disagree slightly because I love to read, and I do love to read fairy tales. And speaking of the spaces in between, this is from my favorite TV show, Once Upon a Time, where we have Regina Mills, aka the Evil Queen, and Captain Hook costumes. These are characters who started out evil and then they evolved into something good. So there is no black and white in fairy tales. They kind of move back and forth. I do love this costume. In the TV show, I could have sworn this was black, but I do love the purple look to it. And the detail on the bodice and collar are just phenomenal. Speaking of Regina Mills, the evil queen from Once Upon a Time, she is quoted in the show as saying, "Evil doesn't always look evil. Sometimes it's staring right at us and we don't even realize it." Good and evil. Does anyone really know what Jack Sparrow is? Ah, Tim Allen's The Santa Claus. Every year I watch all 3 of those movies. That's my Christmas tradition. And then we move over into the live action Beauty and the Beast. That is a beautiful dress. I just not sure if it was just enough, but I applaud Emma Watson for her choice. Sometimes evil is absolutely hilarious. Who doesn't love the Sanderson sisters from Hocus Pocus? And then we have the various Mary Poppins. We have Julie Andrews. I always thought her jacket was black. Now this may just be age that's kind of faded a little bit to make it look purple. I still think it looks gorgeous. And then we move over to Emily Blunt with her version of Mary Poppins with the Maleficent. With the newer movies with Angelina Jolie, it kind of falls into the space in between. Is she good? Is she evil? Does she do evil for good or good for evil? Either way, that's an amazing costume. Did I mention how happy I was to go to Seattle and to wrap my arms around these little girls? I'll have to say it again. And here we have Enchanted Queen Nerissa and Giselle. That dress is phenomenal. I have been told it took 15 minutes for them to get her strapped into that dress. But the poofs and the design and the accessories and the jewels is just phenomenal. But we can't forget Queen Nerissa. That is an amazing dress. The detail that they have on her bodice, her headpiece, the cape, it just doesn't stop. And we have the costume from Santa Claus 3, Jack Frost, worn by Martin Short. It's missing the icicle tie, which kind of bummed me out. I like that part. But that's a fun part. That's my favorite movie, I think, of the 3, is with Jack Frost. This costume is from the movie Black Hole, produced in 1978. This movie scared me as a child, but this is also an example of neutrality. Is he good? Is he bad? We don't know until the end. Another fun favorite movie of mine, Sorcerer's Apprentice. I enjoyed that one. I'm not sure what it was about the movie that was just so darn entertaining. But we have Alfred Molina's outfit for Horvath. Continuity error. He is holding the Grimhold with his picture on the front of it, which means he should be in the Grimhold. Just my opinion on the continuity. And then we have Nicolas Cage as Balthazar Blake. His outfit kind of basic, except for the old man shoes. All right, here we go for my main reason for wanting to go to this exhibit. Cinderella is my favorite fairy tale, and I had to see the costumes and props for this. We've got the stepsisters with some pretty bright, pretty busy fabrics, which is kind of cool. And then you have the elegant stepmother, Lady Tremaine. I don't know how she wore that hat, kept it balanced and not ran into doorways with it, but that dress is fantastic. It's like lime green, but not. And then we have princes. We have Cinderella's prince from the live action movie from 2015. Prince Kit right there on the right. In the center we have Prince Edward from Enchanted, And then we have the Prince of Persia, worn by Jake Gyllenhaal. And the Princess Tiaras. This one here on the left was worn by Anna Kendrick in the play Into the Woods. The one in the center, worn by Lily James from the live-action Cinderella. And the one here on the right, worn by Jessie Schramm as Cinderella in Once Upon a Time. And yay, the Cinderella part! Anna Kendrick, Into the Woods. I like the gold dress. And then Jessie Schramm from Once Upon a Time. The dress looks a lot more blue online, and this is actually made with some draperies that they added to create this costume. An amazing job by Eduardo Castro. Then we have Rodgers and Hammerstein's TV version of Cinderella, where Whitney Houston is the fairy godmother. Very classic, very elegant. And Brandy wearing the Cinderella. I found this part of the experience quite surprising. I always just expected that they would draw it out, put it on computer, and then complete the item. But they did so many molds with this shoe, and you look at this last one and you think, oh, all right, it's kind of pretty. That's all right. But then they turn and oh my goodness, this shoe. This would be something that I would keep in a glass case myself, because I am just in love with this piece of art. This was my total fangirl moment. I have been waiting to see this dress in person. This is pretty much a bucket list item for me. Just the amount of layers to make it look like a watercolor painting, because it had to move and change color as she moved. When they created this dress, they used 270 yards of fabric, numerous petticoats, 10,000 Swarovski crystals, and more than 3 miles of hem, and took them about 800 hours to complete. I think it's appropriate to end with an anecdote from Mark Davis, animator and Imagineer for Walt Disney's company. Walt had some guests at lunch one day, and one of them asked, "Mr. Disney, of all the animations that have been done in your studio, what is your favorite piece of animation?" He thought for a moment and said, "Well, I guess it would have to be when Cinderella got her ballroom gown. Her dress. This was part of the magic that was Walt Disney. This belief that good things were going to happen, good things were there, and this is what animation was." Thank you for joining me on my tour of MOPOP Heroes and Villains. Like, subscribe, and comment. And as always, thank you for the magic, Walt.